The Bhagavad Gita is a sacred text of Hinduism and one of the most important religious texts in the world. It is a dialogue between the warrior Arjuna and his charioteer, Lord Krishna, which took place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra before the start of a great battle. It contains profound teachings on a wide range of topics, including the nature of the self, the meaning of life, the nature of reality, and the path to liberation. Here are key teachings from the Bhagavad Gita. 1. The true nature of the self is spiritual and eternal. 2. The body is temporary and subject to birth and death. 3. The soul is not affected by the actions of the body. 4. The ultimate goal of life is to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. 5. To attain liberation, one must develop a relationship with the Supreme Soul, or Krishna. 6. The practice of yoga is essential for attaining liberation. 7. There are 3 paths of yoga: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga. 8. Karma yoga is the path of action and selfless service. 9. Bhakti yoga is the path of devotion and love for God. 10. Jnana yoga is the path of knowledge and understanding. 11. All 3 paths lead to the same ultimate goal. 12. One should perform actions without attachment to the fruits of those actions. 13. One should not be attached to the body or the objects of the senses. 14. One should be detached from the results of one's actions. 15. One should strive for perfection in action, but not be attached to the outcome. 16. One should offer all actions to Krishna. 17. One should be equal-minded in success and failure. 18. One should have faith in Krishna and surrender to him. 19. One should always remember Krishna and never forget him. 20. One should chant the Hare Krishna mantra to remember Krishna. 21. Krishna is the Supreme Lord and the source of all creation. 22. Krishna is present in all living beings. 23. One should see all living beings as equal. 24. One should see the divine in all things. 25. One should see Krishna in all things. 26. The mind is the source of bondage and liberation. 27. The mind can be controlled through practice and detachment. 28. The mind can be purified through the practice of yoga. 29. One should control the mind through meditation and self-discipline. 30. The mind is the friend and the enemy of the self. 31. The senses are the source of attachment and bondage. 32. The senses can be controlled through self-discipline. 33. One should avoid sense gratification. 34. One should control the senses through the practice of yoga. 35. One should see the self in all beings and all beings in the self. 36. One should see Krishna in all beings. 37. The ultimate reality is spiritual, not material. 38. The material world is temporary and full of suffering. 39. The spiritual world is eternal and full of bliss. 40. The soul is part of the Supreme Soul and is eternal. 41. The soul is not affected by the material world. 42. The soul is the source of consciousness and knowledge. 43. The soul is the witness of all our actions. 44. The soul is the ultimate reality. 45. The body is the instrument of the soul. 46. The body is subject to birth, death, and decay. 47. The body is the source of suffering. 48. The body is not the true self. 49. The senses are the instruments of the body. 50. The senses are the source of pleasure and pain. 51. The senses are not the true self. 52. The mind is the instrument of the soul. 53. The mind is the source of thoughts and emotions. 54. The mind is not the true self.